In the United States, November 11th is known as Veterans Day, though before 1954, the day had a different name. Americans were reminded of that in 2018 because at the 11th hour of the 11th day of 1918's 11th month, the Armistice went into effect. 2018 was the 100th anniversary of the guns going silent. What guns? An American Army captain on the battlefield of Verdun, which had been called the slaughterhouse of the world, said a mysterious, queer, and unbelievable silence fell. It marked the end of a worldwide carnage. The bloodbath on, under, and above both ground and water, which claimed some 20 million men, women, and children's lives, was over. Other countries who fought in World War I called the day Remembrance Day, and not just to remember the nightmares of trench warfare, poison gas, disease, and worse. By the way, the Allied leader most credited with victory in World War I was French Field Marshal Ferdinand Foch. He said of World War I's peace treaty, "This is not peace. This is a 20-year armistice." Unfortunately, he was right, almost prescient. Germany attacked Poland 2 decades later. The war to end all wars was followed by World War II, Korea, and others. November 11th, 2022 marks another important anniversary. A possibly ordinary, yet very special man was buried 101 years ago. Every American knows of him, though none know his name. It is known only to God. He rests atop a hill in the Arlington National Cemetery. His resting place is known as the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. It is now a sacred American site, representing all those men and women who shed their last drop of blood in service to our nation. He rests amid some 400,000 fellow men and women who also repose there. 2 of them are his closest companions. They are unknowns who represent their brothers and sisters from both the Second and Korean Wars. There had been a 4th member of this select group. He represented the war in Vietnam. His grave is now empty. First Lieutenant Michael J. Blassie now rests in Missouri. Unlike many other families, his kin now know where he rests in peace after 138 combat missions. The Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in Arlington is neither the only resting place of an unknown soldier in the United States, nor even in Arlington. The memorial to Civil War unknowns is nearby. Buried in a vault beneath it are the remains of 2,111 soldiers, both Union and Confederate, from that bloody conflict. There are other mass burials worldwide, other memorials to the unknown fallen. World War I has the Menin Gate in Belgium to honor the more than 54,000 unknowns from the British Commonwealth who fell at Ypres. The Thiepval Memorial in France commemorates more than 72,000 British and South African soldiers from the Somme sector who were buried without a name. The Dumont Ossuary at Verdun, France, contains the skeletal remains of 130,000 unidentified French and German soldiers. One death is a tragedy. 1 million is a statistic. Those men and women were and are not statistics. However, the human mind rejects horror, which is why the grave of a single unknown is so memorable. As the years pass, the numbers of direct family mourners has diminished. Yet, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier at Arlington has grown in meaning. What began as a single grave has evolved into a national place of mourning connected to all of American history. Paris's Arc de Triomphe rises above the grave of France's unknown with its eternal flame. Italy's unknown rests amid the glory of the Victor Emmanuel II National Monument in Rome. Britain's lies with kings beneath the wonder that is Westminster Abbey. The United States chose to express our sadness, our pride, and the honor we bestow differently. Our tomb of the unknown is capped by a simple, single block of marble. One side features carved figures representing peace, victory, and valor. The other side includes the inscription, "Here rests in honored glory an American soldier known but to God." The U.S. Army's 3rd Infantry Regiment guards the tomb 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, irregardless of weather. The military's highest ceremonial honor, the 21-gun salute, is the basis of the Sentinel's ritual walk. 21 steps and a 21-second pause. The rifle is always on the shoulder away from the tomb to signify the sentinel stands between the tomb and any threat. In the 1934 movie Death Takes a Holiday, Death, in the guise of Prince Serkis, says he'd seen plenty of war. He could never make out why they were fighting about a flag or a piece of barren ground that neither side wants. But, and here's a frightening but, there's a terrible reality that there is always another war, so the tradition of service not only matters, it needs to continue. We want to remind you of something Ferdinand Foch said. In whatever position you find yourself, determine first your objective. That summarizes much of what America has done for the world. Our objective always was freedom for ourselves and others. American soldiers paid the bill with their blood. After the American Civil War, the United States began to remember those who died in war on Memorial Day. That day must never be simply the start of summer. Over 1 million men and women fell fighting for freedom. God bless them, and may He particularly bless those who fell unknown. And may God bless America. And now a shout out to the extraordinary men and women who guard the tomb of the unknown. Thank you.